Greetings, gods and goddesses in training. Welcome back to the channel. It is Uncle Makara. All relations, Flomus Carmen, Flomus Day. Welcome to the channel. If you are new, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button and tickle the algorithm for me, okay? Because we are about to be a worldwide movement. You already know. The name Primal Sutra, it rings true within the echoes of the Akashic Library, okay? It's already there, okay? We feel it. It's there. There's something here that's emerging, okay? So today we're going to be talking about manifesting your ideal appearance. Now, this is something that I've been working on quite a lot, and I think I'm starting to get closer and closer to this ideal every single day. One of the big understandings that I've understood throughout doing this kind of work in terms of flow state and like altered states of mind is I started to realize that we are in the third dimension, okay? So that means that we are in the physical reality. And so if you take care of your physical reality, you will understand it starts to bleed into the metaphysical reality. So the first thing for you to understand is that you are a source, not a seeker, okay? On the spiritual path, there's a lot of seeking going on, okay? Seeking in terms of this longing that gets generated and created internally. Okay, but the ideal look is not out there to chase. It's an energetic pattern that's already encoded into your field. So this recognition unlocks your embodiment, actually. This is what I've noticed. Nothing is out there for me to get. Because if I change the filter of how I perceive myself, it slowly starts to transform, right? It slowly starts to merge into that container. Okay, so the important point here to understand is the embodiment dissolves separation, which means when you embody source, you stop begging reality to mirror you and you become the mirror. So the moment you believe in the reflection of the 3D world is more realer than your inner state, you start to fracture the spell. So the ideal understanding here is that there is no separation between how you want to look like and how you perceive yourself to be, okay? There's no gap, okay? So having the zero doubt is quite difficult, especially when you're seeing maybe your body not working, blemishes, random stuff growing, right? Just weird stuff in terms of the physical body or your own appearance. Maybe your face is asymmetrical, maybe your legs are asymmetrical, whatever it is. There is some kind of a way that we've been programmed by others, right? Watching media, maybe our parents, maybe, movies, and we see these examples of people, and it makes us feel slightly more and more surreal, right? And nowadays, everything is surreal. It's like, you don't even know what's real anymore, right? So stop judging yourself to fake shit, right? Tap into your original beauty, your source standard, your fifth dimensional beauty blueprint. Now, gratitude is a frequency that collapses timelines. It's going to be like a magnetic stabilizer to the universe, okay? Because you're actually saying, this is my baseline. There's nothing I have to do. I just stand in the knowing of it. So every reflection that you see, body, skin, hair, nails, that's all old data, okay? It's basically an echo. It is not your essence. So shift your perception instead of the reflection, okay? Don't worship the mirror, because the 3D is a delayed photograph of your vibrational state, because the third dimension is a delayed photograph of your vibration. So what you see in the mirror is actually an old reflection of you. Are we getting this, guys? So this process is going to be like a spiral. It's cyclical, okay? It's not a linear thing. Forgetting is part of the rhythm. When you fall out of state, you simply stay correct to the knowing that you are source. And each correction is a quantum rep that strengthens your embodiment. The future self you imagine isn't in the future, technically. That frequency already exists in the now, but time is a hypnosis trick of the ego, okay? So bring your future self into this present moment. And this is through recognition, right, guys? Not through effort and force. Techniques imply that you still believe you don't have it. Oof, right? So this is where you actually have to drop the tech for a little bit. Because every time you're performing it, you're broadcasting a lack. You don't become beautiful by doing manifestation, right? You do it by being the field that beauty naturally expresses through. The 3D world must eventually conform to the internalized coherence of the self-realized identity. Otherwise, reality just collapses into chaos. External actions are not wrong, right? Gym, skincare, makeup, all of that is still valid for you. But I want you to think of them as kind of downstream. True transmutation happens is when your identity changes first. Then biology reorganizes itself around that command that you gave it. So nothing out there is going to change anything, only who you're being is going to change everything. So that means reality is a feedback loop of your being. You're not manifesting something, you're manifesting yourself. And every time you return to that I am source, Soham source energy, okay? You reset the loop. You become the cause instead of the effect, and the painter instead of the painting. So beauty isn't about symmetry, it's sovereignty. So stop trying to become and remember you already are. And of course, this simulation, it feeds on your self-doubt. It keeps you scrolling, performing, contouring, chasing pixels of perfection, while your own divine geometry waits inside your bloodstream like, yo, I'm the damn template. If you remember your source in human drag, your beauty stops becoming a decoration, becomes radiance, right? Real beauty isn't like, take me a selfie. It's a signal. It's a frequency that makes shadows confess, right? And fake souls short circuit. It's when your nervous system hums the same note of this universal code. So if you want to break the simulation, then you stop outsourcing your power to the mirror. When you look at the glass, you see God staring back. No filter, no fix. And of course, it's also inverted, right? That's a very interesting idea. We never really see ourselves how we are, right? Matter obeys confidence faster than it obeys gravity. So make presence your posture. Bliss is your skincare. Gratitude is your glamour. The pixels have gotta bend because they cannot render that level of light. Be so whole that Photoshop gives up. Be so authentic that the algorithms apologize to you. Be so radiant that the mirror starts to whisper, I'm not worthy. Remember, you're not in the game, you're the one projecting the game. An important thing to understand about your own look is that it's gonna change, right? You're gonna get older, your hair's gonna start graying, okay? Mine already has, but it's, I'm taking care of it, right? It's pretty good. There's gonna be changes to your physical body, to your health, to your mentality. Maybe there's some circumstances and changes, right? But amidst all that, you gotta understand your baseline, how you naturally wanna feel. And that state should become your default mode. Something you're always coming back to, because that's when you can actually check when there is an unwanted entity or frequency within your area, okay? So for instance, if I have my baseline right now and then I suddenly notice my energy spike up like a tension, like an adrenaline in my mind, and there's nothing going on, right? Like there's actually nothing going on here. I know it's an energy or an entity. So this being is trying to weasel its way into my fun stream, right? Whereas I have to understand what is it that are qualities that I need to focus on, right? If I focus on the grand archetype, let's say I tune into the archetype of the prince, I will be tuning into princely characteristics and qualities, correct? However, I have to be very intentional about not pulling in the negative traits of the prince as well, or the shadow traits. So I have to actually do the shadow work of that archetype to pull in that archetype. Isn't this wild, right? I think we've been doing this the wrong way, right? We have to actually take that archetype, maybe do Ho'oponopono with that archetype, right? Change its circuitry, geometry, right? Intelligence, visualization in our minds, and make something happen using our imaginations. Right? Like now with AI, you can actually take your face and actually start morphing it into these different beings, right? You can use your fantasy and actually look at it, stare at it, embody it, embellish it, right? I remember I used to make these depictions of myself in many different ways, right? Wild West version of me, right? An alien version of me. Like, think of all of the different, like different channels, right? You'd go to each different channel and you'd see a different version of you, right? Slightly adjusted, retro futuristic one time. One time I'm in the New York Stock Exchange. Another time I'm in like a medieval Europe. Okay, so it's like every single time your beauty, notice how your beauty changes, but your style remains the same. Once you can understand your style code, and you can do this actually using your own like vision questing, as I like to call it, like going inwards and actually seeing what comes up and resonates with you. And you got to know what makes your energy flow, your Shakti flow internally if you look at certain images, okay? So if there's a specific image or a video content that you're watching and you're like, wow, that fills me up with life, right? That fills me up with vitality. Like there's something in the scene that just speaks to me, right? Like the end of Last Samurai that made me, drop a tear from my eye because maybe I had a past life as a samurai. Who knows, right? So it's like this. It's exactly like this how it works. Is you want to embody the aspects that you truly admire in others and already claim them as, that's just because it's within me that I recognize it in them, okay? That understanding and realization will actually shift your state of being for you. Now, of course, it's very important to immerse yourself also in subliminals. There's a lot of great subliminal makers that, make things that morph the face, morph the body, right? And things like this. Now, this is all a game of believability, right? So if you double down on a certain subliminal and you really placebo the hell out of your mind, then you can really start to tap into this, because you are actually don't think of it as you're tricking yourself. You are actually remembering what you always were, okay? So it's coming back to a deep remembrance of who you truly are, what you're here to do, and you're gonna get that spiritual memory back as you tap into your most authentic beauty, right? I'm not talking about the beauty industry, fast fashion, and all this garbage out there, right? I'm not talking about this. I'm talking about your internal feeling of who I am. When I stare in the mirror, if I say to myself, I love you no matter what, and I really tap into that unconditional love before I sleep, right? I'm going to change my self-image. And every night, if I keep doing this, it's going to melt away my lower valence emotions. I'm going to feel much more free, self-loving. And through that self-love, I'm going to be magnetic to others, right? Other people are going to vibe off of my vibe of me vibing off of me. So it's like a boundless, effortless process if you really just double down on this, right? And anything can be made into like a technology. I love experimentation. Like I bought this one skin product and it didn't work quite well for me, so I just quickly made the choice to give it to my mom and get this other product which suited me way better, and now it's aligned, right? So you have to very quickly readjust the changes in the adaptability within your system, okay? This is what's really going to give you that impetus and that power, right, to move forward. So try and find at least 3 or 4 people that are within your archetype, right, of who you want to be like. And I've heard a lot of people telling me, like, you look like this guy, you look like that guy, you look like this guy. I'm like, I don't look like anybody, yo. Yes, they might have my eyes or the little ear thing, okay, they have a little bit of my face. Oh yeah, they slightly, but nobody can compete with the uniqueness that is you. You are a unique fingerprint, remember. So don't let anybody be like, oh yeah, but you kind of look like, Cara Delevingne, and, that's who you should emulate. No, you shouldn't listen to them just because they're telling you. Unless you're in the fashion industry or something and you have to follow protocol, whatever, right? That's different. But what I'm saying is, if somebody is telling you, you look ugly, you look fat, you look broke, whatever it is they're telling you, it doesn't have to be the case. It doesn't necessarily have to be the case. Get opinions from lots and lots of different people. Get perspectives from lots and lots of different people, and then make the right choice, right? Because now you have a whole wheel of fortune of options to choose from, right? Now, some people get overwhelmed with this option and just want others to decide for them. I don't really get that or understand that, but sure, you can hire someone to make that decision for you, right? However, at the same time, when it comes down to your own beauty, though, like, I think it's got to be something that's self-sufficient, right? Self-evident. You can't really copy someone else's style and like trying to impersonate it and merge it into your own, right? And yes, we as humans, we say qualities of things that we can latch onto, right? So if someone is like, oh, bro, you're like Aladdin, right? I'm going to maybe tap into that archetype if I choose to, right? If I double down on it. I remember I had a bully telling me Aladdin way back in the day, and I just kind of started singing, I can show you the world, right? That was my way of handling it. And then, of course, they were really annoying, so I had to take some action, you know what I mean? But yeah, if someone was just like, you're like this, or you're like that, right? They're just insecure about their own self, and they're projecting it onto you. You get that? They're projecting it onto you. It doesn't mean that you are like that. What matters is how you feel about yourself, really. Like, are you happy with yourself when you look in the mirror, when you know, like, okay, I've made all the right choices, right? I've done what I could. I didn't waste my time, right? I actually put in the resonance in this thing, right? And I made it work out to the best of my possibility. And I want to sharpen my state of mind to be able to handle that quality, right? So anyway, revere yourself, understand you got to tap into this divine or sacred beauty, right? Stop looking at this like, models on Photoshop and all this kind of stuff. Like, stop going by the standards of society and really start tapping into this like ethereal alien beauty, like this completely surreal level of beauty that cannot match this earth plane. Like, start emanating that more, right? Because that's where the empowerment for me comes from. I'm not like copying regular people. I'm like modeling after anime or like some kind of a strange movie that I saw, right? Or some archetype that I invented, like some kind of mythic character or one of my spirit guides or deities that really inspire me, right? So I'm using my imagination to create and bridge together this world. So look after yourself, look after your own beauty, okay? Because a lot of people will overlook this thing, right? They'll try to make themselves look pretty. That's not really what I'm talking about. I'm talking about owning yourself at your greatest self, right? It's a different paradigm for sure. Like, if I really imagine that I'm at my greatest self, immediately a whole wave of relaxation just floods through my whole body. And I get a sense of determination and stability as I tune into that, right, guys? So do that. Imagine your oversoul or higher self, how they look, and just merge it with your current face, right? Deep trance identification. Get into a theta wave, get into a deep trance, and identify with the characters that truly resonate with you to change your morphic field of resonance and pull in the right coordinates, the right frequencies, the right intelligences that are here to guide you along your spiritual path. Let's get it today. Upward Spiral Gang, may we never be the same again. Thank you for tapping in. Let's win today, Os.